All right, hey guys, how you doing? It's Mr. Dimitrie here. Just wanted to make a quick little video to go through what you guys are going to be doing this coming week here for the week of what is going to be Monday, May 11th through basically Friday, May 15th, although you have until Sunday next week, May 17th, to get it all completed. It's actually only one thing you have to do this week as far as turning things in. So as I sit here, it's Sunday evening. It's Mother's Day. Hope you guys all wish your mother a happy Mother's Day. Hopefully you can hear it's not too distracting. There's rain pounding down outside my office window here at home, so hopefully it's not too disruptive in the background. But hope you guys are all doing okay. We are, moving along here. We got about 5 more weeks, believe it or not, only of this online virtual schooling, and that's going to be the end of the year. So let's take you quickly through what you guys are going to be doing this week. So here we're on my Schoology page. Yours is obviously going to be a little different with your classes, but we're just going to jump into the third hour folder here for Global. Take a quick look. We're going to, of course, scroll down to the weekly folder. So you'll see it's not quite active on my page yet. It's unpublished, but it will be available this evening after 10 o'clock. So on Sunday, May 10th at 10 o'clock p.m., you guys will be able to access it. So you're going to want to open this folder up and take a look at what's inside. There's not a whole lot in here, just 5 things. You want to begin, though, by looking at this week of 511 to 515 overview, which is basically the description of what you're going to be doing. And I'll quickly walk you through it. It'll only take a minute here. Essentially, though, this week we're going to continue our study of kind of what's happened over the past 100 years and how the world's been shaped during that 100 years. We're going to focus a lot this week on what happened in certain areas of Africa and Asia as a result of the end of the European colonization. And essentially, this happens pretty quickly in the decades following World War II. This is going to be a small change, though, what you're required to complete this week. I'm not having you do any sort of like GRQ or fill in the blank or even a quiz or anything like that. Instead, you guys are just going to have to answer a couple of discussion questions for your one assignment you have to turn in. You'll just simply do those discussion questions by typing your responses right into Schoology discussion, which I'll show you here in just a moment. You could also type them up in a separate document, Word document or Google Doc or something like that, and just copy and paste them in there. You also could do a voice recording of your of your answers and submit that. You could do a video response if you want to do it that way, or you could simply, you should be able to take a picture of anything you write and upload it to the discussion as well. So basically, here's the deal. We're going to simplify what we're going to be learning about this week. We got to think back to something we've learned about in school while we're still in class, happening in the late 19th century, the late 1800s. And you got to remember, at that time, a lot of Europe was a industrial region, right? They had the Industrial Revolution, and they were mass-producing goods in factories, and they needed raw materials, and they needed markets. So they needed to get goods that they could manufacture, and then they needed a place to sell them, or markets in which they could trade and sell them. So they had gone on this massive campaign of colonization and influence across Africa and Asia that we refer to, and we called it the Age of Imperialism. If you remember, that was this whole period, where very quickly, pretty much all of Africa and a lot of Asia was colonized by the Europeans. Well, what happens is after World War II ended, a lot of these European countries, so 1945, right, World War II comes to an end. In fact, we just celebrated, going back to this, on Friday, May 8th, was actually the 75th anniversary of VE Day, Victory in Europe, when the Nazis surrendered to the Allies in World War II. If you guys remember in class, I showed you that picture of Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister of Great Britain, standing on the balcony throwing up the V sign, what we now call the peace sign, but it was the V for victory. That was actually 75 years ago, just this past Friday, May 8th. So anyhow, World War II ends, right? Europe's decimated. The Cold War begins between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. But basically, because the European countries are so devastated physically, financially, economically by World War II, they were no longer able to continue to control these vast lands that they had kind of conquered and taken over during the Age of Imperialism. So when we combine that factor with in these regions of Asia and Africa, we're beginning to see these growing movements of independence. People like Gandhi are calling for independence in India, and there's this movement for self-rule or self-government. What we see happen is a pretty quick period after World War II in which most of the areas of Africa and Asia that have been dominated by the Europeans begin to receive and achieve their independence. So the story of each country region is unique. It's not the same everywhere you go. There's a lot of similarities, though, in the methods that were used. And many of the newly autonomous or newly free and independent states faced some pretty significant challenges during the process of shedding that legacy of imperialism. So this week, what you'll be doing is you'll be looking at some of these stories and the people from these places, as well as learning about some of the challenges and obstacles that they did face. So if you take a look here, you have 3 tasks to complete this week. 3 pretty simple basic tasks. It should be maybe an hour of work total for the week, I would guess. Might take you a little bit longer, maybe even a little bit less. But first off, you're going to watch a John Green, a crash course video about this whole process called decolonization. You can access it by clicking here. If you click on that link, it'll take you to the video. It's about 11 minutes, I believe. There's no assignment that goes with it or anything, but it is simply a opportunity for you to learn a little bit about that process of decolonization. So that link is there. I'll show you there's another place for it. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to read about a 4-page summary called The Collapse of European Imperialism. It includes information on what happens in India, Africa, and different regions of Asia. There's no GRQ that goes with it, but you should be reading it thoroughly because you will use it for your discussion. And then the third, and this is your actual assignment for this week, you're going to choose one leader from a country that is outlined in that reading summary. And you're going to have 5 discussion questions you're going to have to reply to about them. They're pretty simple. So you may need to research information beyond what is described in the reading to complete it. Say you choose Jomo Kenyatta, who leads the independence movement in what is now the country of Kenya. You'll read about him, but you may need to look up some other information. So what you'll do is you have to complete your discussion questions, and you have to answer them in Schoology no later than before midnight on Sunday, May 17th, or before it becomes Monday, May 18th, okay? So I got a suggested schedule here for you. You don't have to follow this, but this is what I recommend if you want to divide up the different tasks over the course of the week. You could, of course, do it all in one sitting. You could break it up however you want, but here's a suggested way of doing it. Monday, you watch the crash course video. Take you about 10 minutes. Tuesday, you would read the first 2 pages. Again, it's a 4-page summary. I'll show you. You read the first 2 pages. Wednesday, you read the second 2 pages. Thursday, kind of pick your leader and start to do the research for the questions. And then Friday, whoop, there's a typo there. It says Friday. It should say Friday. Respond to the discussion questions with your answers as they relate to your chosen leader. So that's the summary of what you guys want to be working on this week. We are not going to have a Schoology conference tomorrow morning, on Monday morning. We don't really need to have one. I go over all the stuff in these videos. But if you feel the need to talk to me, make sure you text me, or, I sent out a Google Voice phone number. You can text me on that, or you can text me through Remind 101. You could email me and we'll get in touch, okay? So when you're back in the main folder here for the week of 5/11 to 5/15, we were just on this outline of what you're going to do, the link to the crash course video. There's the Word and PDF version of the reading. So let's pop open the PDF version here first. And what you'll see is, again, it's similar to what I've had you read the past couple of weeks. It is a document that's kind of typed up. It just gives you a little bit of information on each of the different ones. I apologize. It's six pages, not 4. I thought it was only 4, 5, 6. So 3 and 3. Pretty simple, though. You can read that there. And then the most important thing for you guys this week is, back in the main folder for the week here, is the decolonization leader discussion question. So when I click on that, you'll see a description of what you guys need to do. So it says, you will need to choose one person from the list below and describe the role that they played in the process of decolonization in their country. Your responses need to answer the 5 questions below about the person. All 6 people you can choose from are discussed in that reading, The Collapse of European Imperialism, but you may need to use the internet to research some additional information on the person in order to answer the 5 questions. So you can type your answers directly into the discussion board below. You could type or handwrite them separately and attach your answers. Like I said, you could copy and paste them. You could even record yourself, voice recording or video recording of you doing it. So you pick one of these people, not all 6, you pick one. Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, Kwame Nkrumah, Jomo Kenyatta, Nelson Mandela, or Ho Chi Minh. Okay, and these are all outlined in that reading. Now, in your discussion, you're going to answer these 5 questions. You can number them and answer them, or you could simply write it out as a paragraph. First, the name of the person. Pretty basic. Number 1, Mohandas Gandhi. Number 2, the country or region they're significant to. You would answer if you did Gandhi. Number 2, India. Now, 3, 4, and 5 are kind of the bulk of your assignment. Number 3, you're going to summarize what role they played in the country at the time of the collapse. How did they help either lead to the decolonization or independence, or what role did they play in building the new country? 4, describe the methods they used to shape their country during that process. Either what did they use, like Gandhi, using nonviolence and civil disobedience and boycotts, or kind of what role did they play, or what methods did they use in helping build their country? For example, Nelson Mandela in South Africa. How did he not only fight for the integration, meaning the end of what's called apartheid or segregation based on race in South Africa, kind of how did he do that? And then lastly, number 5, tell me 3 interesting facts you learned about that person as you studied them. What are some interesting things you learned? Okay, so you're going to post your responses. You'll simply click on the comment box that I have here, and you can type your answers directly in here like so. You can choose this file button and upload a file. You could, again, copy and paste information into here. You could also, using this here, little microphone, click on it. It gives you an option to either record an audio. You could say, you know, I chose Mohandas Gandhi, he's from India, and tell me your stuff. Or you could choose to do a video file, and that gets attached there as well. And when you're done, put whatever you need in here. You simply click post. And once you post, you will see the rest of the class's stuff posted here. So you can kind of get some idea about other people as well. And that's it. That's the whole assignment for the week. One assignment you have to have handed in to me. That's all the work you guys need to do. So if you have any questions this week, please make sure you shoot me a text, shoot me an email, let me know, and we will discuss them. I hope you guys are all doing good and keeping up with all this virtual learning, and you're staying healthy and you're staying safe, and looking forward to hopefully being able to have a little bit more freedom to get out and about and see your friends and more of your family and all those other things coming up here soon, okay? Take care, guys. See you soon.